So finally, I'm checking out the Q&A SS Rajamouli did after the IMAX screening of RRR in America recently. Now, I couldn't find a better quality video, but this is what we have. So let's have a look. I'll keep changing the audio levels because it's too loud sometimes. Oh my god, it's great. It's great to hear all that, but like not a single person had a good camera to just record it. I don't get it. Like, I tried to inquire if there's a better quality. Someone recorded it. It was nothing officially was done. So wow, people are going crazy. I'm guessing this was after the screening. Hope so. That's I think that makes more sense. That's why people are clapping so much. Wow. That's a long applause. And I saw the pictures and videos on Twitter. You can check out those. Like from the scenes, people's reaction to different scenes and all. Like there's so many like Westerners. They're just, enjoying and screaming. And at Naru people just came in front and danced also. So that was amazing. Okay.
I just saw they kneel down, take your picture, and I thought they were kneeling down because they were impressed at your greatness, and I think they're both are true.
The quality is really not good.
I cannot believe that India did not submit this film for the Academy Award. Here. We'll see it. But welcome. How are you? We're going to chat with you. We'll come to you for your questions. And,
better now.
I'm so excited to see this. I mean, this is the first American screening you've seen, right, of this film, or am I wrong? If I'm wrong, why?
This is the second screening. The first screening I saw it in New York.
Okay.
That's a smaller theater, but the big theater, big crowd. Yeah, this
okay.
is the one.
This is amazing, right?
Absolutely.
Oh my god.
I'm so impressed. Amy and we host a podcast called Unschooled. And we watch a lot of classic great movies. And when we saw this movie, we said, well, we have to do an episode on this movie because it's an automatic classic. It blew me away. And it blew me away on a small screen because I watched it on Netflix because that's where I saw it first. And to see it here, I mean, this is the only place to see it. We're both so kind of impressed with this. I wanted to talk about one thing, which is 300 days it took you to make this movie, right? 323. What is that like? That's a marathon. How do you approach this? Like, I want to understand. Like, on day one, how do you go? All right, this is it.
Yeah, I mean, we take an episode by episode, schedule by schedule. We don't plan everything at once. We plan, for example, Beam's introduction is there. That's the only thing we plan. We plan for it, shoot for 15 days, 20 days, whatever it is. Then take a break, prepare for the next episode and shoot it. So we don't shoot it at one go, but this we shot it for a period of 1.5 years. You take out the COVID rights. So yeah, that's how we
shot this during COVID too?
No.
Give them all the awards. That's years before COVID. But yeah, Amy, you're
Well, yeah, and also I think part of what blows my mind watching this here is that this is an independent movie. And like here in the States, when we think independent movie, we usually think a little bit smaller than this, like a lot. But you have your team, you have money. That means this is a movie where you're in complete control. You don't have anybody telling you just have your ability to say.
Yep, that's true.
Is that true? Is there a limit to how many yeses you can say?
I hope you guys can understand. I'm sorry if that's not the case. Again, I don't know why there is not a better quality one available.
Yeah, I mean, yes, we. Okay, all I can say
But thank you whoever like recorded and put it out. Thank you, so we could actually watch it.
is yes. I mean, we have traditionally been that way. A studio system is not so prevalent in India.
Yep,
We make
that's true.
independent films, but I always wanted to be adventurous. I always started pushing a little bit more than the market, pushing my budgets more than the market. So my previous films, Bahubali, were the biggest. So then we went much beyond the market, and actually we created markets for my films. So RRR
That's true.
was not so difficult in that sense. We already had an existing market for whatever the money we were spending.
But this is a script that you wrote with your father, who is 80 years old. I mean, as you're writing this movie, as you're being like, okay, in this fight scene, we're gonna have tigers and hyenas and bears and stags fighting in slow motion. Are you ever thinking like, maybe this is a bit much, I should scale it back?
No, never.
Never. That should be on a t-shirt.
You ever ask what your dad did? Is your dad going, and he picks up the motorcycle? Like, you know, how does that dynamic work when you're writing together? What do you each bring?
I mean, how we work is that I create those insane moments, crazy moments, but my dad understands that to create that kind of crazy moment, there has to be an emotional basement, right, to build this crazy moments. So I create the crazy moments. He builds a thread which ties all these together, and also a basement for all of these things to stand together. So I create the moments, he creates the story.
And a little bit more information about your dad. I learned that he recently just got nominated to be on Parliament in India. Like, he is now
I know that.
You write movies where one man rides on another man's shoulders holding two guns?
Not a politician. He didn't join the politics, but he became a member of parliament on a special quota. He doesn't belong to any political party, but he loves doing some kind of surveys for the land that has given him so much. That's what he says, and he's a workaholic. He gets up 5 a.m. in the morning, and from the time he starts working, he never takes Sundays off, no holidays. He says, "You want to go for a holiday?" He says it's a waste of time. So from morning to evening, every day,
He's mad at you when you take those breaks. When you take those breaks in this movie, he's mad. He's like, "Come on, no,
I mean, he writes so many movies, not just for my movies. He's the top writer in the country, so he writes for many other movies as well.
Well, this is the question I have. Obviously, this is not your first film. You are a giant director. You've had tons of blockbusters, each one of them a giant hit. So this is not new that you see people loving your work, but it is interesting that this is a movie that kind of breaks through in a way that, what do you attribute to this movie breaking through here? I think a lot of people I've talked to, like, did you see this one? Did you see this one? And tomorrow there's a 10-hour series. And it was like, oh, yes, that's this. Do you think there is something about, like, what do you think this was the perfect sauce for this?
He was in LA. I wonder if Koidoku invited him over and had a session of VFX Artistry act with him. That would be amazing.
Very frankly, I don't know. I make films for Indian sensibilities. I know how Indian sensibilities work. That's how I grew up.
I think that's the answer he has said many times before.
I never expected RRR to go into the West as much as it did. So I'm absolutely thrilled, no doubt about it. Because I in my wildest dreams, I didn't expect RRR to reach the audience this way, because I thought Western sensibilities were different. I was so wrong.
You are doing what we want. Like, no one makes this, and everyone wants this so bad. But are you? is there a part of you that's like, yeah, fine. You would like, like, did you want to be, seen this way in the West? You don't care. Like, you're like, I'm making my movies, I'm making blockbusters that are giant, and I have my audience. Do you care to kind of get over here and have a hit here as well?
How do I put it? See, people here like RRR because of the way I made it. I didn't make it, I didn't change my style of making, I just made it the way I made it. Now if I suddenly think how I have to change my style and do down someone else's ad, then I'm being neither, I'm not being honest to myself. So I have to make my the films that I make that are to my sensibilities.
My eyes are hurting, man. It's so pixelated.
Western audiences. I think that's the way I should do it.
I've seen cam version movies like this where people, move around in the middle of the movie. In my childhood, not now.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, the worst thing that I could see is, like, I'm sure people have come to you like, hey, Fast 12, we want you to direct that. Tom Cruise has got an idea, like I said, you have to make your movie, you shouldn't be put into a studio system. Or people, I'm sure people are coming to you with ideas, right? Or
yeah, there are some ideas. No offense, I love the movies that you mentioned.
I do too.
The latest Tom Cruise movie, Top Gun, was fantastic. I really love it.
They're all great.
But I would like to make my own kind of movies and make them bigger, make them much more bigger.
That's what we want.
Are there actors in Hollywood you'd love to work with? That you
So many, like we were mentioning Tom Cruise.
Many. Now, if you use Tom Cruise, he'd have to really throw a motorcycle at a time. No special effects for him.
Yeah, he would take them on a flight and then throw.
So, I mean, about, I saw this movie when it played just opening weekend here in America, not knowing anything about it, and I only learned afterwards that their characters, that Ian and Raju, are, real people who were, who did things a century ago in India that made them very famous, and I didn't know that origin story. Like, could you tell me more about some of the real men work?
No, interesting.
I don't want to take a history lesson, but I'll keep it as simple as possible. Our country, India, was under the rule of the Crown or British government for 90 years, and before that, East India Company was almost de facto rulers of much of the country for 200 years before that. So in these many years, there were many freedom fighters who were fighting for their existence, for their freedom, for their honor, right? So in my state, the place I come from, it is divided into two states, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. From Andhra Pradesh is the Alluri Sita Ramaraju, Ram, placed by Ram, and Pukram Singh from Telangana, he was from that state. Interestingly, both of them never met each other in history. But both of them were born at the same time. They left their houses when they were about 20. They left their houses, respective houses, and we don't know what happened to them. There is no record of them what happened to them for 2-3 years. Then they came back. When they came back, they were different men. They started inspiring the people to take up arms and fight against the oppressors. And interestingly, both of them died in the hands of British. So it is the resemblances or the coincidences were like very interesting for me as a filmmaker. So I thought I would take those 2-3 years whom no one knows about, and I will bring them together. That's I thought it was a great idea, and that's how that was.
I'm going to go into this audience, which is a scary proposition, because I'm going to let you offer up any questions that you want to ask, but make it good, right? Because, we have limited time. So, yes, if you're in the front row, I feel like you deserve a question. So, all right, here you go. Give the picture of the question. All right, what's your question? I'll hold the mic.
any sort of visual effects. So I wanted to ask if you are open to more experimenting, say, using AI now that there's stuff like deepfakes, if you like use that.
The question is, would you like to use deep fakes in your film? Would you like to put the head of Marlon Brando on somebody? I mean, yeah, would you use experimentals?
Hey, someone is recording there. Do you see? Someone is recording, so they must be a good quality one.
First and foremost, we have to understand whether it's the traditional VFX or the new technologies of artificial intelligence, neural net, and I hear so many things that I don't understand properly. But we have to primarily understand those are tools that you can tell your story. Those are not characters. So experimenting or not experimenting, using AI is not experimenting. Trying to tell a story in a different way or trying to tell a different story is experimenting. For my stories, if I feel that those technologies are needed, I will definitely use them.
Clear and straightforward.
You're wearing a tie, so I went to you. I feel like you're going to deliver a good question. Here we go.
So first off, thank you. Also, a lot of Americans and people in the West first introduction to Indian cinema. So I'm wondering if there's anything you would want a Western audience to know about Indian cinema, past or present.
Okay.
Give us the whole history right now.
Obviously, as an Indian, I would like to the world to know the stories of India. As a filmmaker, I would like to tell them to the Western audience. There are so many stories. It's a huge treasure trove. Indians are so crazy that they use story for everything. Even to tell the deepest philosophy, they use a story.
Yep.
So that's the way we are. So I would really want the rest of the world to know the Indian stories, and I'm greedy. I want to be at the forefront to tell those stories.
I got a question up here. Okay, go for it. No, I hold the mic. You read your question off your notes. Okay, go for it. Our notes have pictures, so we're gonna see our notes. Yeah.
So you've worked with both Cheddar and Peter and VR before. So when creating this movie, did you build the characters knowing that you wanted them to play your heroes? And why did you think they would be the right ones to portray such heroes?
Okay, why did I want NTR and Ram Charan for these characters? I can go on and on about how perfectly they suit the characters. True, they do, but the real thing is, I wanted to do a multi-starrer, and working with one star itself is such a pain, and imagine having 2 stars together. So the only way that this could work is that there should be a bonding, there should be a friendship between the stars who are working for this film. The only 2 stars in the entire country who are very, very close to each other, close friends, are Ram Charan and Tar.
That may raise some eyebrows.
All right, I have a question up here. What's the question?
So first of all, it's incredible how you just revolutionized cinema for the rest of the time. Thank you, man. I've noticed a lot of the way you film like conceptualized shots. It's very picturesque, because every single frame is meant to be like screen captured, and the flow of action is almost like it's like animated, almost like you were the closest to portraying live action anime, right? What are your influences visually when you film and your process behind that?
I don't know if Rajamouli has watched anime.
Primarily, I love action. I like fights, action sequences in the movie. And at some point of time, I don't know when, I realized that emotion gets enhanced if you place it during an action. At the same time, the action makes much more impact if it's emotionally driven. So that is my my way of going forward.
If you notice, you know, because everyone is standing and asking questions, he also stood up. He's not sitting.
None of the action set pieces that come in the movie is not just for the action sake. There is some kind of story going behind it.
Yep.
I think that gives the flow for the stories that I tell. Did I answer the question, or I just?
I think so. I kind of want that. I read that one of the movies that really inspired you when you were a kid was the Charlton Heston Ben-Hur.
Yes, my inspirations, if you're asking of inspirations, yes, Ben-Hur is a huge inspiration. Oh my God, the chariot chase, I don't know how many times I have seen it. Not just me seeing it, I made my whole family see it again and again. They got so fed up with me watching Ben-Hur. Yeah, and many movies, I have said this many times, I love the way the action has been reinvented by Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson in Braveheart. That's one of my favorite movies that inspired me.
I've yet to watch both of them, man. I want to know where the inspiration comes
And
from.
of course, the top directors that the Indians knew in India throughout the 80s and 90s, more than the Indian directors, they knew more about Spielberg and James Cameron. They're also my favorite directors. I get inspired by them a lot.
And you're also introducing a matinee of City Lights here on Sunday at the Field 3, which is TCL Chinese Theatre. I was thinking, like, you're so good at getting transmitting so much emotion and feeling silently in your actors' ear. Like, you have almost like a silent technique in throwing stuff at it.
Actually, they asked me to present City Lights day after tomorrow. I think that's the only Chaplin movie that I saw, and I have to reserve my words there for to speak there. If I talk about that, I don't have anything else to talk about. But
Honest.
What Chaplin is that he really makes you cry for him. Even though he makes you laugh, I think he makes you cry for him even more than he makes you laugh. So that is one thing without knowing, I incorporate into my films. Even though there is so much of action, so much of loud cheering from by you for the guys, I'm sure you also shed a tear for them. That is very important. So.
Yep.
I have a very professional question up here. We got two cameras, a camera on you and a camera on the question asker. All right, no pressure. So it can be good though. Two cameras, the most cameras we have. All right, here we go. What's your question? I'll hold the mic.
Cannot hear.
Sorry, let's see. You maybe have to just talk a little bit louder.
Okay, sir, my name is Divya. First of all, I want to congratulate you and the team for the massive success that you served in so great. And thank you and your talented family for upholding and supporting the
Still cannot hear.
Indian movie history. And fans in Mumbai. So my question is, I want to ask you about three of favorite restaurants recently and what do they have to say about all the love up there?
Can you repeat that?
Alright, so you said that February. Well, sorry, I'll ask. Kind of zoom down. Who were you saying that did he speak to? Who? Your favorite friends? Your favorite best friends? I don't know what that means necessarily. What do you mean the favorite best friends? Is it? Oh. Okay. Well, I'm confused by this. Why am I confused by this question? Hold on a second. I'll kind of keep comparing it now. So wait. So did you on February 14th? What's that? What is that? No, okay. All right. And then, did he talk to his favorite friends on February 14th? Oh, okay, got it.
Okay.
And then what? Okay, so this is like putting you in you having a fictional conversation? I don't, alright. The actors, okay. So what did the actors say during that scene? I'm
What's happening?
I'm trying.
I'm just asking that you spoke to Aram and if they are familiar with this and what they have to say.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, got it. So what if the actor? Now I sorry, we were all over here. Now I got it. So what do the actors think of this? Like you're here. So the question is simple. What's the reaction of these? Like, how do they feel? I mean, obviously these two gentlemen are giant stars, right? But now they also are having this newfound success. I've said that I believe that they're going to be in the Fast and Furious movies. I'm sure of it. But like, what was it like? Have you talked to the guys since you made the movie? I'm so sorry it took me so long. I'm tired. I just came. Yeah, sorry.
Right now, I'm pretty sure they're feeling very, very sad that they're not here. Okay?
That's for sure. We gotta get them nominations too. We gotta get them too. I mean, maybe put them supporting and lead. I don't know. We'll get them in there. We'll get all these. Best actor, best director, of course, best director, best picture, best writer. If your dad can take off the day from Parliament to go to the Academy Awards, we'll get him in. Yeah, let's get another question here. Sorry, yes.
While Paul gets that question, the questionnaire said that she wanted to also thank your family for working on this movie, which your wife is the costumer? Is that true?
Yeah, she's a costume designer.
Oh, she's here?
The saddest thing is she says that she's not, this is the last one that she's going to work with me. She doesn't want to work with me. I hope everyone convinces her.
You guys are very loud over here, so I'm going against my better judgment. Well, all three of you can. We pick the smartest one. All right, the smartest one. So I'm holding the mic. I've said it. I said hold the mic a million times. I'm gonna go with this guy because you don't know it. Okay, here we go. All right, so yeah. I can hold the mic.
He's having a lot of fun, man.
You might be the smartest one. You said one thing. How about you? Are you the smartest one? All right. You think you're smarter than him? Okay, let's go there. All right, here we go. All right, so what's your mic?
Sir, my name is Sandeep.
I like that you call me sir.
I'm from Chhattisgarh. This is a movie right for all Indians, particularly Telugu people. I just want to let you know that the amount of appreciation Telugu films are getting because of you, because it was predicted that like Hindi cinema was the face of Indian cinema. Like no one even knew that a language called Telugu existed.
Yep.
Until RRR became, even Bahubali was a hit, but no one knew because it was dubbed into Hindi and it was watched in Hindi. But, sir.
With triple it has changed, yeah.
Sir, it doesn't matter if this film doesn't win an Oscar. I don't care.
When you want to win a people's choice. It's got to win a people's choice. A people's choice, maybe. Critics' choice, sure.
But, sir, I'm a Telugu. I'm a Telugu guy. I'm proud. Thank you, sir.
He didn't his friend said he didn't technically ask the question. That is true. But he was nice and he was tall and I liked all that. So yeah. Accurate, yes.
Kind of related, one way I hear you describe is as India's James Cameron. But I also would like to put forth that James Cameron is now just called America's Rajamouli.
Okay.
I do know comparison James Cameron is like a god of cinema. I don't know so much. I am Rajamouli of India. That's it.
Humble.
I think it is unfair to compare you and say, oh, you're the Indian this, or it's like you are just a great filmmaker. Multiple movies that have the minds of so many people, and I'm excited to see what you do next. Do you feel like after this, it's more scary to go forward, like what's the next idea? Or do you feel liberated, like, all right, well, how do I top myself? I mean, where do you want to go next? You don't have to tell us what you're working.
Man, this guy's camera recording looks better.
but do you want to go smaller? Do you want to go bigger? Do you want to stay historical? Do you want to? What's kind of exciting to you? Right?
A small, big, it doesn't really matter to me. It is something that is that excites me is what I can go forward. My first biggest blockbuster in Telugu is Simhadri. Right after that, everyone expected me to make a film with a big star, but I chose a game, rugby, which no one knew in India, and made a film on it. Then I got one of my biggest, the biggest blockbuster at that time, Magathira, with the. And after that, I went and made a small movie with a comedian called Maria Ramana. So it doesn't matter big or small. It is just if that story is interesting, I would definitely take up. But my next happens to be my biggest film yet. Yeah, it's an action movie. So someone asked me what my next film is. I casually said it's with Mahesh. It's a globetrotting. And suddenly the word globetrotting started trending in India. So that's how crazy the Indians are.
That is amazing. Now, I will say that
Even I actually Googled to know what the meaning of that is. It's actually just going on adventure over the world, around the world, kind of.
I've got a couple texts from people that have met you on this trip, and they've been so excited to meet you. Do you get starstruck by the people that you've met? Because I do think, it's like knowing that you were coming, knowing that you were here. All these people have traveled from around the country to be here tonight. Yeah. Some? Sorry, you might have to. Yeah. Have you been starstruck so far in your travels or in kind of meeting people who become fans of this? Or
no, I haven't been starstruck yet. I am trying to, because I'm concentrating so hard in trying to understand people, or sometimes even trying to understand what they were saying, like the lady I had so difficult understanding. I'm concentrating so much, so
I think people
understand, but I am definitely completely dumbfounded by the technologies that are being developed right now. Right? Very, very exciting, very, very scary. But that's the most exciting experience for me when I came here on this trip, learning about the new technologies.
I love that. And I was just like, I'm sure like probably one of that technologies is like, what is it called? The volume. If you got a volume, like, would you ever want to shoot on a stage where it is all computer background, or do you like being in a real location?
Interesting.
Like, have you seen those volumes, like where they shoot like this?
Yes, virtual production. You're talking about virtual production. Yes, yeah. I mean, I know of the technology before I went and saw a virtual production stage. And one more thing is, like, Indians are quite fast in adapting to the technologies. As big stages are being built here, on the smaller stages, on a lesser quality, we have already started shooting there. On virtual production stage. So they get up quite quickly. So I understand the technology. Whether I would use it or not completely depends on whether my sequence needs the help of the technology or not. Here's the question.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in the frame.
So thanks, and he grabbed it.
Hi, my name is Sean. Thank you so much for coming. This is truly a tremendous night. My question was, I've seen a bunch of your films, and one of my favorite aspects is obviously your action. It's so inventive, it's so creative. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you come up with and craft your actions.
In a way, that's. I think I answered the question. In a way, how I think is that I don't know how I think, but that is the way I think. I need big movements, really big movements, which really stretch the viewer's imagination. But at the same time, if you see those sequences just for the sequences, you wouldn't find them so enthralling. It is because the emotion that drives that
Context.
sequence. I believe, I mean, we know that human beings are capable of doing impossible
Look at that photographer behind.
things when they are emotionally charged. So I take that liberty in creating almost an impossible situation, and then trying to create a drama, trying to create an emotion that substantiates it. So that's how I work. The visuals that come into my mind are primarily because of the kind of books that I have read as a child. From my childhood, I have been fed up on, I really fed up on comics, storybooks, stories of mythology, history, folklore, everything that I could lay my hands on. I kept on reading. I think that fired my imagination. That fires my imagination.
A lot of people have asked you about action, but no one has asked you about dancing. And this movie really has one of the most amazing dances. Now, how do you shoot this action? What do you do? How do you approach? Obviously, this end number with the credits, amazing dancing, but we got to talk about suspenders. The suspender dancing, the dance off, is that something that you envision in your mind, or you work with a choreographer who goes, how do you get that on the page, or how do you approach a dance?
The first thing is, like when I have Ramcharan and India on board, both of them are fantastic dancers, and the obvious expectation from the audience is that they dance together. That's an obvious thing. But I need to create a situation where they are not just dancing, but a kind of story is flowing.
Yep.
So that's the situation that's being created. He's being humiliated by an Englishman, and the friend comes to the rescue, and both of them dance, which is actually a fight, which is actually a competition, and they win it. So that's the next step, creating a story within that song.
Yeah.
And the main thing is, I have a fantastic choreographer called Prem Rakshit, who has been working with me for quite some time. He has created some of an amazing dance sequences on Indian screen. Luckily for me, he comes in completely dedicated when he works for my film. He stops working for all other films, and he comes and stays with me. For the Nona step, you have seen, I think, 3 or 4 variations in the song for the hook line. Right? He has created more than 100 signature steps for that line alone. 100, and it's like they were going on and on and on, and they were so difficult. The dancers were getting pain in their knees, and he had to change his assistants to create those steps. I think he created so many steps, and he designed the whole song for almost a month before the actors actually came into practice.
Whoa.
That's amazing. He's a fantastic guy, and interestingly, he also choreographed some of the action sequences for me. He's a dance choreographer, and the one on the shoulders, some bits in that he composed. That is amazing.
Wow. Didn't know that. That's new revelation.
You told me that you are not a good singer, and you told me that you've
Horrible singer.
and that you've never done karaoke before. But I am curious, are you a good dancer?
It just took 2 steps back.
Or sing. It would have been the most beautiful. I think a lot of the times, we look to people that we admire, especially, somebody who's a writer and a director, to give advice. Like what, and like, I think a lot of people are trying to make their films, trying to write their films, trying to direct their films. Is there anything you've learned to be true about making film, like a little piece of advice or a nugget of wisdom you can share with us, just about how to approach work, or how to, get through an impossible shoot day, anything like that, anything that comes to mind that, that you kind of live by a little maxim?
Advice, Are there any film students here? I give advice only to film students. I don't give advice to anyone else.
Just accountants over here, accountants over there.
Yeah, the advice is just jump in. You either sink or swim. That's it. In general, I don't like to give any social messages in my film. I don't try to educate people on any subject. I feel that the audiences are
Someone said came in the middle.
hard-earned money and they're giving their time so that they get entertained. Right? So my duty is to entertain them. History lessons or social development classes are supposed to happen in the classrooms or moral science classes or something like that. My job is to entertain them, and I take entertaining my audiences very, very seriously.
What show is, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. Whoa. Thank you, whoever made this video, so we could actually hear it. I made a lot of jokes in the middle, but just kidding. Thank you for that. But yeah, man, I wish there was a better quality one so you could hear everything. But interesting questions, interesting ways, and people are just excited for the film. Let's see, man, what happens with Oscars. Anything can happen, you know. We may not get neither. We may get a lot of nominations, but whatever it is, we'll be supporting the film till the end. But yeah, man, looking forward to the Japanese release. Even China release is pending, so I still feel like at the box office the film can do double or triple the amount what he had made till now. And yeah, man, let's wait for SS Rajamouli next film. I'm sure a lot of videos is coming. He did one for Iga also, so we'll check it out, all of that, and there are more videos and all. Let me know in the comments below. Again, if you enjoyed, do like, share, subscribe, check out this video next, and I'll see you next time.